Okay, Tuesday the 5th, we're on upper body. So this one we only have one part. We have 5, 6, or 7 rounds. That is your choice. And we have single Arnold press, single chest press, skull crushers, and push-ups. And we have 10 reps of each. So single Arnold press. Well, you don't have to actually hold the other one. It's where you start in front, twist up, then you're gonna switch sides. We've got our single chest press, step them to the floor. Or if you have a bench, you can use your bench, and then you would switch sides. Skull crushers. Again, down to the ground. You're gonna use one weight to your forehead or one weight in each hand, going down on either side of your head. And lastly, we have push-ups, I believe. Yep, push-ups, so you're either gonna do full or kneeling. Okay, or chair. Chair kneeling. Okay, so single Arnold press. So this is a variation of kind of like a chest press and a shoulder press mixed together. So you're only going to do one side at a time. So with this, you're going to start in front of you. So just like this, in front of your chest, and you're going to press up and rotate as you go up. 1, rotate back down. 2, rotate back down. So you rotate up so your palm's facing out, rotate back in so your palm is facing you. So your palm is facing you, palm is facing out. Palm is facing you, palm is facing out, okay? So that one is pretty simple, and then you're gonna switch sides, same exact thing on the other side. You just wanna make sure that you're always returning to this position and then rotating outward. Start here, rotate out, okay? When you do press and you are over your head, you wanna make sure that you're not like this, that you're not out in front. It should be fairly lined up like with your ear. Your shoulder and your ear should be kind of in line, okay? That one could possibly bother you if you have rotator cuff issues. For me, I have something going on with my collarbone, like that's pulling like from here to here. So it pops every single time I do it. It doesn't hurt, it's just kind of uncomfortable. I don't think I'm supposed to be doing it, but so sometimes I'll just switch it to like a regular shoulder press, which would just be straight up and down. Although that still pops me, I think it's less because it's not as much rotation. Single chest press. So this is what I was saying, if you have a bench, you can do it on a bench. So this is the one that you see people at the gym doing, called a bench press, where all the guys, you know, wanna be so crazy muscular at it and that they want it, sometimes it's all that they even do there. But not everybody has a bench. So I just don't show it with one. So we consider it a floor press, but it's a chest press, okay? So we're, again, only doing one arm at a time. So because we're on the floor, you're gonna start on the floor, all right? And your arm is gonna be bent just like this. You're going to press up and come over your chest. Then you're gonna widen a little bit to come back down. Up over your chest 2, release back down, up over your chest 3. So you don't have to hold the weight sideways. It's okay if it's like also more like, I don't even know. So I guess sideways, long ways, I don't know. It doesn't really necessarily matter. It's just the motion from going out to the side to toward the middle. So you should be feeling like kind of where your armpit side boob is. If you put your hand there, when you come from here and you pull up and over, you should feel that muscle tightening, okay? So that is what we're using. So it doesn't necessarily matter how the dumbbell is sitting, it's the motion of going from out to in. So wide to close, that's kind of how you should think about it. Your chest is open, your chest is closing. So I'm putting my hand kind of right here, and I can feel that muscle contracting and working as I do that movement. Skull crushers. So this can be done with 1 or 2 dumbbells. The difference really is control. So if you have strong tricep muscles, if you are used to doing these, maybe you are in my program or you've just done these before, you might want to try the 2. The 1 is easier because both hands are on one weight. So I'll show you both. So, and I shouldn't say it's easier per se, it's just that it doesn't require as much coordination. So with 1, you're gonna hold 1 weight the long way. You're gonna lay on your back. The weight is gonna start up overhead, and you're just gonna release the weight back down from the elbow toward your head. Okay, so it's gonna pretty much hit me in the head, and then I press back up. Slow release down over my head, press back up. So as I said, both of your hands are on the same weight, so they're moving together no matter what. Okay, if you want to do 2 weights, you have to make sure that both of them are moving together, because now you have 1 in each hand. So I prefer this method because I feel that I feel it more, but it's definitely, there's a bug on me, it's definitely harder in terms of making sure that you're moving your arms together. So you don't want it to be where your stronger arm is moving faster, your weaker arm moving slower. So that is up to you. So if you're gonna hold 1, you're gonna hold them the long way, and it's gonna come down to your head. If you're holding 1 in each hand, it's gonna come down by the side of your head, okay? So 1 comes to your head, 2 comes by the side, okay? So again, I think having that separation, I feel it more, but it's harder to control, okay? And then we've got push-ups. So if you've been with me, you already know there was a time where I couldn't even use my wrist. Then you just saw I was able to do a push-up. I really still don't do them because the less I use my wrist, the better it feels. So it's kind of odd because I don't use it and then I'm like, oh, I can do all these things, but if I start doing all those things, it's gonna hurt again. So it's almost like I'm nursing it back to health to not use it because it's just gonna make it hurt again. So I'm just gonna show you a few full because I just don't like to do them. So your full push-up is gonna start in high plank position. So that means that your palms are on the ground, you're up on your toes, and you're in high plank. So high plank, you don't want your butt up in the air, you don't want it sunken down, you want it neutral, okay? So from your head to your ankles should be neutral. Now, when you do your push-up from high plank and you lower down, everything should be moving together. So you're gonna lower, press up. Notice how everything moved together. My hips didn't come down, my shoulders didn't come down while my butt was in the air. Everything lowered together and then rose together. Lower together, come up together, okay? So if you cannot do that, you're gonna drop down to your knees. So when you come on your knees, you actually wanna be on the area that's right above your kneecap. So you don't wanna be on your kneecap. And look where my butt is when I am. My butt is up in the air. If I shift forward off of my kneecap, it helps put my body in line. So I'm in my half plank, I guess, position, I could call it, kneeling, but I'm doing the same thing. Everything lowers together, everything comes up together. Everything lowers together, everything comes up together. If you notice that you still cannot do that your body all moving. If your shoulders are going or your butt is still sinking, you're gonna wanna move on to a height. So there's multiple ways you can do it off of a height. You can do kneeling off of a height, which would be like probably your easiest. You could do high plank off of a height, okay, which is a little bit harder because you still have your body weight. So whenever you kneel, you can think about it as you're cutting your weight in half, okay? So that's why kneeling is always easier. But being off of a height, being elevated also relieves some of the weight off of you. So that's why like the high plank off of a height is still a little difficult because you're still bearing your body's full weight, it's just off of a height. If you're kneeling off of a height, you have the height and then you're reducing the weight by almost, not necessarily half, but you get what I'm saying. You're kneeling instead of being full length. Then your other options, which would be the easiest would be off of a wall, off of like, this chair isn't that good because my arms have to be really close together to show you, but off of some kind of height where, you're kind of like this, that would be your easiest. So with push-ups, you want to do whatever allows you to do the proper form. So if you're somebody who has been with me for months and you are still doing it off of a height, I would rather you do that and be doing it correctly, because what happens is people do them outside of what they're actually capable of, and that doesn't help you at all. So if you're trying to do a full push-up but you're doing it wrong, you're never going to get good at doing it wrong, okay? It's never gonna help you get better because you're not using the proper form. So if you have to kneel or if you have to use a height, but you're using that proper form, as you get stronger, you're going to be able to adapt to the harder and harder versions. If you're doing it wrong and you're not using the right form, it doesn't matter how strong you are, you're never gonna do it right. So there's nothing wrong with kneeling push-ups, there's nothing wrong with off of a height push-ups, because it's all about working on the form and your strength will come along, okay? But again, it doesn't matter how strong you are. If you're doing it wrong, you're doing it wrong. So don't be ashamed. Again, like I just said, I just do kneeling from now on because I just am so paranoid about my whole wrist situation. So I never do full push-ups, and that was something I was really proud of. I could always do full push-ups. I could always do a lot of them. And I just at this point have accepted I'm just never really gonna do full push-ups ever again. And that's fine because nobody cares. Nobody's watching you. You're in your own home. You're at your own time. There's not push-up competitions happening you know what I mean? It doesn't matter. So do whatever works for you, okay? And that is your Tuesday, which is the 5th.